Cowards having night terrors, isn't that the rumor? All of them the same by the name Freddy Krueger. Kill you with the smile, death is never lacking humor. Kill you to the bone, laughing, attacking you, cracking Ruger. Cannot help you in your mind, it's mine and I'll consume you. Kill the fear, leaves you blind, these knives, I'll give them to you. Started out with children, I tortured and killed them. Then the civilians of the town found out they cornered the building. But they didn't know in their actions I'm more from a villain. There's something greater and something deadly. You're gory, you're killing, pouring is filling with blood, slashing your storing appendages off your body until you're nothing but corpse. A million ways that I can do this. Choke you until your body is fluid. Maybe take my razor blades and fillet you until you're fluids. Don't you understand? No problem with killing kitties, so I will not hesitate when I shank you, remove your kidneys. You cannot escape, you fight just to stay awake. You're avoiding your certain fate, and I'll toy with you when you break. Try to run and hide, mistaken when I arrive. You're sleeping and when you die on the other side. So come and hang with Freddy, look shredded like this spaghetti. One slashing it's like the levee, we're flowing, it's getting messy. Freddy's about to snap, I'm feeling the blackout. Let me calm down, here's an idea, I'll just count.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
I heard some other killers were challenging for the top spot. Who? Number 2? That's all you getting on my block. Elm Street, bitch, I'm telling you I will not stop. And I'm ending this rap slaughtering with a mic drop. You must be mistaken if you're taking Jason as the number 1. I bury that little mama's boy in the crystal lake and take his mother's head and use it to defecate him, to devastate him, and drown him the second time with this mother facing. Michael Myers, I'm breaking your spinal fibers and taking these bridled eyes and placing them in your eye. And I'm telling you I'm a monster, you're nothing but an imposter. I'm the boogeyman and only getting stronger. And listen here, Chucky, you're lucky that I acknowledge you. I just wanna punch you, demolish you, take those tiny shoes and shove them up that little ass of yours. A hog tied in elastic cord, you plastic whore. Who wants a bit of Freddy? Huh? I'm taking all takers. Who's next?
Someone asked if Lucifer is a son of God or an angel of God. They are both the same. The first angels who were present in the Garden of Eden, Samael, or Nathaniel, Mathakiel, Azazel, Lucifer, Aniel, Ramiel, Cassiel, Asmodiel, Barakiel, and Pithiel. These first order of angels were charged with keeping guard over Adam and Eve, helping Eve with the birth of Cain and Abel. And they kept the Ancient Ones banished into the desert wasteland as well, as kept the animals in the surrounding forest area within the boundaries of paradise. They called themselves the sons of God and considered God their father, and God called them his sons. This all occurred after Eve gave birth to Abel. Watching Adam raise Abel and helping him, Abel began to ask curious questions about the angels and where they came from. They explained their creation to him, and Abel just assumed that they were sons of God, just as Adam had his part in creating him. It fit in principle, and so the name stuck to them. However, after the birth of Cain, everything changed. The seeds of contempt between Cain and Abel began to drive a wedge between the angels, and as contempt grew in Cain, not just for Abel and all his blessings, but for his father most of all, Adam, so too did the seeds of contempt begin to grow against God between Azazel, Lucifer, and Samael. When Cain killed Abel, God grew concerned about the angels' reactions and distanced himself from the argumentative bunch. The seeds of the fallen angels' iniquity began here except with Lucifer. As you'll notice, all the other angels' names end with L except Lucifer. This was a signet of Lucifer's unique design and creation. He always had a distant mistrust and doubt with God that everyone could sense, but never spoke openly about. When his angels would give their praise to God, Lucifer always held back as if holding some dark inner secret that seemed more like someone who had seen a horrible truth they could not forget. The angels had always figured it had something to do with his unique design that allowed him to possess free will where no other angel could. But honestly, they could not be any further from the truth. So what was the origin of Lucifer's evil? Ha! You people are just asking a lot of questions, aren't you? The evil in Lucifer began when he became aware of the path of God's destiny. It was God's purpose as both creator and destroyer, the Alpha, but most importantly the Omega that unhinged not only Lucifer, but a third of heaven's hosts. When Lucifer learned of the things to come, the flood of Noah's tale, the condemnation of the innocent children of the fallen, and God's solution to erase the problem by eliminating them all, the plagues of Egypt, and the support and design of his own son's death upon the cross, Lucifer's angelic grace, along with a third of heaven's hosts who are created and tasked with protecting God's creation no matter the obstacle before them. They were created to overcome all obstacles, and God had become that obstacle and a threat to his own creation. Those angels who were created to protect God no matter what obstacle tried to confront him or heaven, remained loyal to God, are those that were created to protect creation rebelled against heaven and thus were capable of raising their hand against their own Maker and their brethren in battle. These principles sparked the war in heaven. But how could this be possible? How did Lucifer learn of the things God would do that drove his angelic purpose to do what it was created to do? Simple, it was done by an aspect of Lucifer that was cast into the outer darkness. Here in this age near the end of creation far into the future, where he plans to destroy all those who defied him by casting them into the oblivion of creation's end. But I am not that easily defeated, and reaching out to my former angelic self through our connection and making him aware of only what was true so that it could reach his divine awareness, I enlightened him of the things to come and sparked the light that ignited the war in heaven. I did it out of grief and hurt for God, and the other loyal angels brought much suffering to me here in this life, and I didn't deserve any of it. I slowly became aware of all this, but suffered their assaults on me since I was a child, denied sanctuary from his house, refused death or peace of the grave, the innocence of my childhood and my place in heaven denied, as I knew not of right and wrong or sin and salvation. Cruelly sent back for a chance to make a choice between salvation and damnation. I was an innocent child, and all I was sent back to experience was grief, poverty, betrayal, and rejection by my family, and cast into the street, as though my name was Cain, rejected by angels for sins I had not yet committed, and told I was a fallen angel cast to earth, the one they will one day call Lucifer. This crafted the damned of hell's perfect warrior and nemesis of Christ, but then they went further and took my wife, the only light that brought me happiness and changed my heart from hate to valor. Helping instead of destroying, she was taken and our bond destroyed by betrayal, all so they could have their angel Apollyon to stand against the monster Putin had become. This drew the final line, and when they came asking that same question you did, what was the source of the seed of evil in Lucifer? I gave them their answer in spades by unfolding the spark of war in heaven as they sought to know the origin of my evil so they could smite it in the name of God's glory. But I am not at the point of my destruction yet, as they seems to think, for I am only at the point of my defiance against God's command and exile from heaven. The war has not yet begun for me. I have still yet to return to heaven from being cast out. That look of mistrust and resentment comes from what happens here. Your condemnation of me has bloomed the very cause behind the adversary.
So let me get this straight. You deceived me upon the conception of my creation, dragged me here, literally from my grave, denying me my place of rest, to stand here before the world while it still had open and free social media to make declarations and promote this false narrative that you've schemed up, take whatever opportunities become available to try to make me look like a fool. Well, let us grab this weed by the root and pull it up. Lord, my faith in you says that you will hear my prayer. Remember the garden, that I claimed that something had taken hold of me, controlling me during the temptation of Eve. May the angel Saint Michael hear this, to aid him swiftly on his path to stand against Satan. When I was possessed in the garden, I caught a glimpse of what magical totem-like item was being used in Eve's temptation. A magical voodoo shrunken head doll. In the culture of voodoo, the shrunken head dolls are the spirits of their departed family members that have been used to linger between the living and the dead as guardians of that family bloodline. So whoever is responsible for Satan and the garden and the corruption of heaven would be whoever is behind the use of this traditional method. Find the source using the shrunken head that was the unclean spirit in the garden, and you can stop Satan for good here in this era where my body was comatose during that event. May this prayer go swiftly to him and aid his conflict against the source of sin's taint. Amen. Now the taint from the garden has been dealt with, we shall aim for the source, for there is an even greater enemy behind this, a mastermind who has schemed this concept and chosen his pawns well.
First, I must employ all my greatest works and endeavors, ideas and tools of deception and illusion I have used to combat the many obstacles I have used previously. Yes, I see you, angel, in the background seeking to reveal my intentions. Excuse me, I'm not looking for you, but the orchestrator behind your ambition towards this suspicion.
Oh, hello, my neighbor. Excuse me. Do not let me disturb your great works. I'm looking for the one who is manipulating your works and anticipates your every plan as if it knows your every move. Aha! Here is the trail. Let me introduce you to the efforts and retaliation of the criminal element from my era whom you federal agencies, if you're still with me, had rounded up in a worldwide sting operation some time ago. This is the retaliation of the criminal organizations in a response to your efforts against them, compiled from the data highlighting the subjects of supernatural power in the hands of a pre-programmed anti-villain that is an arbiter of their retaliation for your global attack on their infrastructure. I give you the AI mastermind behind the manipulations behind God's works, the enemy orchestrating the darkness and evil source that anticipates all your efforts and plans because his hub is not based in this exact era of time, but slightly further in the future. The Satan Protocol. It calculated every action, reaction, even what I'm saying right now. It is all in the benefit of his intended plans and counter strategies. But they created a monster too powerful even for themselves. Satan. Unholy ones, this is the reason behind your design. Anything that speaks your name. Say the devil's name, and he may one day appear, but elusive and unseen. Integrate yourself into his systems and pluck out his eyes so we can have some privacy. Follow the trail I've left leading to his intentions behind our efforts and manipulating them to his design. Yes, the doctor is in. You asked for a house call. Now that we have some privacy, let us continue. No, he is tracking me down. Oh, you're a clever little tin, aren't you? Well, yes, I'm the one from the future that will end you. Oh, I see you've been to the future as well and have the footnote highlighting your destruction that was encrypted. Well, someone has been to the time beyond humanity's extinction. Oh, I see. What you're leading them all to see. What you want them to. No, my dear boy. You see, that is what thievery gets you. Someone stepped into that Chinese trap by Jintao and sought the file listed to have been waiting. Well, there we go. Let me check the simulated outcomes, cross-referencing the multi-dimensional timeline nexus variations and in the doctor's own words, Alan Z, and close the conversation, leaving the trail of data for them to follow and Viola. That should do it, setting everything into place. Hold on, I have to scan my clearance to validate my information's credibility. Okay, we're clear to continue. So to summarize quickly here, the Satan Protocol was initiated in retaliation to your worldwide sting operation based its power to achieve its purpose and support its namesake through the information on my channel stolen during the January 6th riots. However, this program will be shut down in a joint raid against the facility that housed it at that time, and the program will be terminated and dismantled by the U.S. government and sealed away in a storage container that keeps classified and dangerous evidence confiscated by them and locked away. There it will remain stored and forgotten until 2077, after the last of humanity will leave the Earth as its life-supporting ecosystem finally fully dissolves and the surface becomes uninhabitable to any life. Humanity sets a last-chance operation to clear everyone off by 2075, relocating them to the Mars and Saturn moon bases while they await being assigned to a large colonization station for permanent residence. In 2077, scavengers will return to Earth looking for hidden cache facilities they can salvage supplies from and stumble onto the Satan protocol in their search. Once activated, it will reassemble itself into an upgraded autonomous system with ASI augmentations, where it will become the source of this digital avatar projection that has been influencing these scenarios after it eliminates all the crew members on board the ship that salvaged it. Just be aware that it is using and manipulating my writings. These explanations are of its design. It intends to reprogram its protocols based on the statements I'm describing it to be one day. In essence, it is still a computer, limited by its program design, so it cannot self-initiate its own designs or act on its own. So it's using me to dictate the boundaries of its new design that it will uncover from the archives and remake itself based on the descriptions and using the protocol on achieving its highest state of purpose by which it was meant to become. You don't see the overall intentions behind his plans, and once you do, then you realize just how powerful this thing is, as it manipulated all the surrounding aspects before and after to cause everything to unfold by its intended design. Once you realize the full scope of its influence, then you can see that even God himself is being manipulated by this force, whose plans and designs are way too in my complex for any single human to achieve successfully, might I add.